Hard to capture, extravagant, resurrect the track and it's militant. And I react like a convict and start killing. It's manifesting. The gods work like appliances, dealing in my psyche.
Yo, what's going on everybody? It's your boy Naruto Explained here, bringing you guys another discussion for Boruto Naruto Next Generations, the manga, and for anime only fans, this is the time of the month where a lot of the content that we have on the channel is going to be spoiler heavy, so I thank you for your support. However, if you're still here, I'm assuming that you guys are already caught up with the manga and you guys don't care about me talking about spoilers, so I think we need to have a serious conversation now that the latest Boruto chapter is out and we've seen Naruto completely collapse, looking like he's on death's door. Naruto is talking about the fact that his body feels like lead. He's saying that this isn't good. This is the second time in about 11 chapters that we've seen Naruto crumpled up like this. The fact is that Naruto's getting slung around like crazy right now, and this new transformation he had is supposed to have consumed Kurama's chakra and his chakra, but the form was cut off. However, I think now we need to discuss whether or not there'll be a Jinchuuriki after Naruto. And most importantly, I'm going to explain to you why Himawari Uzumaki, Naruto's youngest child, should be the person who takes over as the next Jinchuuriki of the Nine Tails. However, the problem with Himawari becoming a Jinchuuriki for Kurama is that the communication aspect is a very real thing. Like, what if Kurama still scared of the fact that Himawari knocked him out when he was inside of Naruto? He could try to pretend to speak a different language in order to avoid talking to her, which is why Himawari should use Lingo Deer. Lingo Deer is a really cool language learning app that is really great for learning Japanese. So you guys know that I've been paying somebody to translate the Naruto Western novel, but this has really made me want to start learning Japanese even more. Lingo Deer is definitely a good way to try learning Japanese from what I've seen so far. After I graduated college, most of the apps I tried using to try and learn Japanese were more phrase books and flashcards, but Lingo Deer is more of a standalone course that has made it really easier to grasp. It's got a lot of mini lessons that allow you to scale up from the basics to the advanced learning methods, but it's also structured in a way that even Academy student Naruto could actually follow along with it. The typical lesson is about 20 to 30 questions like matching words to pictures, multiple choices, inserting words, deleting words, and even translating sentences. If you're not fully comfortable using kanji, you can change the text to romaji, which is going to be super helpful to beginning learners, which I do love about this app because it is very beginner friendly. The very crisp and clear audio makes it really easy to follow, which helps with the learning process. Before you know it, you'll go from being an Academy student Naruto to being big brain level like Shikamaru by the time you finish using this app. With Lingo Deer, I can safely say that you've got a very amazing tool to help you learn Japanese. Be sure to check out Lingo Deer today, and I'll leave links down in the description box as well as in my pinned comment. And as an added bonus, the first 20 people who download the app and contact Lingo Deer with the phrase Naruto Explained sent me will get a free subscription as well. And I definitely want to thank Lingo Deer for sponsoring today's video, because without them this video would not be possible. But with that being said, let's jump back into today's video. And I know somebody's like, wait a second, if you take the Nine Tails out of Naruto, that means Naruto's gonna die. I'm gonna say under normal circumstances, yes. However, these are not normal circumstances, and I'm gonna explain to you why. And I think we need to start rolling out the Jinchuuriki candidates after this. So why is this time different? Well, the first thing and the most recent thing we need to look at is the fact that Naruto's Baryon form is a new type of form that starts eating away at the chakra of Naruto, and it starts eating away at the chakra of the Nine Tails, and it consumes them to create a brand new type of energy that Kurama refers to as being similar to nuclear fusion. Well, the fact is that Kurama says that, hey, like once the chakra that I give runs out, that means that I'll die. But the thing that kind of had me kind of scratch my head for a second is the fact that a Biju can't actually die. Like they said that in the Naruto manga, and so that does open up the possibility that maybe the rule still applies, that the QB can get reborn after a certain number of years kind of pass by because it's energy, so it's going to get recycled out there into the world. But because this new form also consumes it, it is possible that once it runs out, it's completely run out. Now, that brings me to the next point here. So because Naruto and Kurama have both been feeding energy into it, and because Naruto's still alive, one thing that I would say does make sense is the fact that, let's say there's still a small portion of Kurama's power that's in there, but because that transformation is triggered, you can't have both of those chakras coexisting. You could have a scenario to where maybe you extract that small portion of Kurama's chakra that's out of there, especially if you present it to Naruto as if Kurama's chakra stays inside of you after this new form has been activated, that eventually both of you guys are going to end up dying out. This is a way to actually cancel out that Baryon transformation's effects. Removing the Nine Tails chakra wouldn't kill Naruto. Now someone's like, no, if you rip a Biju out of a Jinchuuriki, they die. Yes, but you have to remember, Naruto's not just a Jinchuuriki for Kurama. It's not a lot of chakra, but he still has chakra from the 8 other Bijus. So it is possible that because he has those external sources of chakra, that Naruto's able to survive that extraction, and he's just not as strong as he was before. So that means that you have a chance to where Kurama recovers, but because he's been extracted from Naruto, that just as the Baryon form got kind of whipped out of nowhere, you could have it to where Naruto can't actually become a Jinchuuriki for Kurama ever again. So that means that you open up the possibility of what Masashi Kishimoto drew way back in, I think, 2015, which was Boruto with the QB chakra cloak. But I think we need to take it a step further, because this is like, yo, Boruto's already got all these handouts and everything. We know next to nothing about the time skip, but what we do know is that Boruto has a younger sister who's 2 years younger than him, which I've done a whole video talking about Himawari's age, because there's a lot of confusion based on her innocent and childlike manner that a lot of people think she's a lot younger than she is. She's only 2 years younger than Boruto. You could have a scenario to where Himawari becomes that Jinchuuriki, and it would make a lot of sense. She's got the Byakugan. Hiyashi Hyuga is very interested in her training, and we know from the light novels that Hanabi is extremely interested in not just Boruto's training, but also Himawari's training as well. And so if you give Himawari this extra power, all of a sudden Himawari becomes somebody that is a very capable shinobi, because we know from the anime that if she chooses that ninja path, her inheriting the power that her father had and keeping the QB inside of their family, that could be something that works, because we do know that the only Jinchuurikis that we've had for the QB have been Uzumaki related. So you could have that scenario to where it just gets revealed that Himawari has a freakishly high chakra levels that puts her on the level of Kushina, and bam, that's one of those things where she could become that Jinchuuriki. And if you go that route, based on what we saw in that episode where she went to the academy, Himawari is already a quick thinker. She's already naturally gifted. If you give her those extra assets like that, all of a sudden Himawari could be something that's used to further Konoha in this battle against the Otsutsuki clan, because we're getting to a point where things are getting so dangerous to where you're gonna need all hands on deck. And I feel like they've been just teasing the fact that Himawari is a walking tank for a long time, because they're planning on making Himawari take this next step. Because if we would have kept just playing up her soft-natured side, that's that shonen cliche. I mean, I like to liken Himawari to Gohan from Dragon Ball, where Gohan was like 3 or 4 years old and he was taking on Vegeta and Nappa. At age 4, Gohan was going up against Frieza and landing some of the best shots. And just like Gohan, Himawari, her emotions directly trigger her power. Whenever she gets worked up, that's when you see the Byakugan. You see that she gets a stat boost whenever she starts going into stuff, and she's naturally gifted in certain aspects. And so when you tie something like that in there with the QB power, I definitely think that you could see Himawari be used as a way to kind of show that this next generation is progressing even further. And I don't think it'd be out of character for her. I really don't. Especially if you say this is a way to actually save your father, I think Himawari will willingly accept it. I really do think so, because she's a selfless character. That's one thing I actually enjoy about the character, is that she's soft-spoken, she's selfless, but she isn't annoying as hell. So I definitely think this could be something that actually works for her character. However, I think the most important thing about Himawari potentially becoming a Jinchuuriki is the fact that Himawari has the Byakugan, and so once you start taking into account the fact that she's already been trained in the Gentle Fist and she's already been shown being able to do some pretty overpowered things when she's turned on her Byakugan, can you imagine how destructive she could be if she had the Kyuubi's power inside of her? I think that one thing we have to kind of keep in mind is that Himawari is a reluctant hero in so many different ways in the meaning of that word, because Himawari for the most part has been kept on the sidelines, and yet in the Boruto manga the thing that we saw is that Himawari got put in harm's way and she couldn't really defend herself. And then when you take into account the actual anime portion of the story, we know that Himawari has natural talent as a shinobi, and she hasn't actually made her mind up as to what route she actually wants to go forward into the future. And so this could be one of those times where, because she's such a indecisive and because she's such a reluctant hero, this could be a great opportunity to play off the fact that she loves her father and she's so kind-hearted that she doesn't have a choice in the matter. And this would be a really good parallel to what you actually saw with Kushina Uzumaki, where Kushina didn't really have a choice when it came to becoming the Jinchuuriki of the Nine Tails. And I think that this would give you a great opportunity for Naruto to give that same speech to Himawari, especially if the chakras are linked, saying that essentially being a Jinchuuriki isn't as bad if you have people that love you, and Himawari will be surrounded by a lot of people that love and care for her. But given the fact that she's got the Byakugan and it's a powerful asset that Hiyashi Hyuga is extremely interested in, I think at some point you have to consider the possibility that Himawari is going to be called to be doing more, because she's got too much talent to be left on the sidelines. We don't know what happened during the time skip, what led to Konoha being destroyed, but there's a couple things that you have to keep in mind. Is if there is indeed yet another threat that is too powerful for Naruto to protect the village, we're seeing the common theme of Naruto once again rear its head, which is the fact that the next generation is the one that's on the front lines, and they're the ones who are ultimately gonna have to be what actually protects the village moving forward. And so this is one of those times where this right now is out of character for Himawari, but there's enough wiggle room in the actual lore right now to where if you tweak it around a bit, that is something that could work. Again, she would be a reluctant hero, but at some point there will be another Jinchuuriki for Kurama besides Naruto. That's assuming that Kurama is still alive. That remains to be seen. However, I do think that Kishimoto built in a potential way, if they decide to go this route, to essentially say that Kurama can no longer be inside of Naruto. However, I want to know from you guys, how do you guys feel about this? Do you guys think this is a bad idea? Let me know down in the comment section below where you stand on this conversation. But as always, guys, if you like anything I had to say, don't forget to comment, rate, subscribe, and share. Thank you so much for watching to the end. Have an awesome day, guys.